G'day guys, Wearman here. Welcome back to the workshop. Hopefully this is recording.
It is.
Good. We are doing our roles thing. We're experimenting with the longer form podcast stuff. Everybody seems pretty happy with it so far. It's getting some good looks and stuff, or whatever it is that YouTube does. And we have looked at the voting, and Scouts are next.
And it's a good choice.
And I am quite happy with that because I voted Scout, so I'm fine with that. So I guess I'll go through roughly what a Scout is. Shall we cover what a Scout is supposed to do?
Definitely.
I mean, if you haven't guessed it from the name, obviously, if you remember, there's a recon lance for the formation building, and the ideal role was Scout. So if you have all Scouts, you don't have to worry about any of the other requirements. So having Scouts out there that are various bits and pieces, that helps you build those lances. But Scouts are fast, light armor or none at all, and very little weaponry. They often employ advanced electronics. Scouts are sometimes forced into combat by necessity, but are more commonly spotters or support for other units in the force. The Raven and Swiftwind Scout car are examples of Scouts. And the Raven is one that I've brought with me today because it's pretty much the Scout mech, really. With all of that electronica on it, it's just insanely cool.
I mean, when a lot of the technology was lost through the succession wars and things like that, I mean, Scouts were still very important, but without a lot of that advanced tech, you know, they had to be a bit more careful. But I tell you what,
it's basically just being able to run really fast and get in and out of places without getting dead. Was the main problem.
Yeah, but with all the new tech like tag and all that sort of thing, they just become so much more dangerous, so much more useful.
Yeah. I've got master unit list up here, as have you, and I have filtered for the role of Scout. I have 311 different variants of BattleMech. Quite a large number of them are wasps and stingers and locusts and things, but there's 311 variants. There's 282 combat vehicles, which I think is really cool. There's a lot of VTOLs, Scout cars, that sort of thing, but the combat vehicles I think actually go up to about 70 or 80 tons. 60 tons. There's a mobile strategic command HQ at the top there, which is weird. There's 221 different infantry variants. There's 12 industrial mechs that are counted as Scouts, which is pretty cool. There's 16 proto-mechs, or proto-mech variants.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then there's 18 support vehicles variants, up to a 90-ton schooner land train, which apparently counts as a Scout.
Wow.
That's like a 90-ton thing that drags behind 30-ton modules. That's like they use it for transport on like backwater worlds where there's not that much infrastructure and where things are a bit more hostile.
Okay.
And so it's like a big all-terrain vehicle tractor with all these big all-terrain vehicle modules that it can drag behind it. So it's a tractor trailer setup.
That makes sense.
And it can pull up to 3 of those modules. So 3 30-ton modules behind it.
Nice.
But they've listed them all as Scouts.
Well, technically, yeah. I mean, that mobile HQ that you were talking about, I think it's only got like a medium laser or something. It's the truck, but it's got all this technology for scouting and things like that. It's quite an interesting unit, actually.
There's some really good ones. But yeah, that's Scouts. From the top there.
We're primarily talking about mechs in this one, aren't we?
Primarily. I've got some interesting things to point out, but before we go into Scouts, somebody brought up in the missile boat one about the Javelin.
Yeah.
And I think it'll be an idea to go through some of the comments that we get on the role before in the next role. So the missile boat one got quite a few, and thank you very much to the 65 people that voted, by the way. That was very cool of you. What was it? Was the Javelin 10A? 10A. Okay. So it's listed in master unit list as a striker, because almost all of the Javelins are listed as strikers. What I'll do is I'll bring it up here. So Javelin has 11 variants listed here, and almost all of them are strikers. There's 2 that are listed as scouts, actually, which is pretty cool. But they're all here listed as strikers. Now, what happens is the strikers will move as a group. They're deployed as a group, they focus as a group, and they all try and take out the one target. That's kind of their thing. But what I've noticed while we were just talking beforehand was that in Mega Mech Lab, it doesn't actually have a role assigned to it. The others have the striker role, but that one doesn't have a role listed. So I think personally that it would count as a missile boat. If you wanted to use it as a missile boat, I don't think you'd have to convince many people in your gaming group to say, well, it's only got an LRM-15. I think it counts as a missile boat sort of thing, you know. I think you'd be able to get away with it. But officially it's listed as a striker, which, yes, is very, very odd. And no, I don't know why. But I think that's kind of it. Either someone just messed up and put it in there because all the rest are strikers, or it's meant to be they go through it on Sana as being a long-range harasser, so I think it's meant to be with other strikers, but stay back.
Yeah.
So...
Well, it's got got a good speed and maneuverability. It's jump capable normally.
It's got all the striker stuff, it's just got a long-range weapon, and it happens to be indirect fire capable. So it can be a missile boat, but its primary role is striker for those... to go in with the other strikers.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't exactly know why, but those are my guesses. And yeah, like I say, thank you to the people that voted, and thank you for voting Scout.
That's right. Because as a Lyran player, I get to talk about atlases, because that's what we use.
I was going to say, you're going to have
We've got
atlases,
so much
right?
money, we let's just throw money at somebody.
I've got the Charger.
There's some eye openers here.
Oh, I've got one that's going to blow your socks off. Yeah. I've got a Scout here that is going to absolutely blow your socks off. But I'm quite happy for you to go first if you wish, buddy.
Well, I'm going to. I'll take that, because I want to talk about a quad.
Ooh.
Because you know how mad I am about quads and things like that.
Yeah, I know. So that's why I'm going to blow your socks off. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Cool.
So So I've got here. So I'm looking in. I'm
going to bring this up on
technical readout 3055. I decided to get some of the books out to actually have a look at them again. But 20 tons in a sphere, the Tarantula.
Oh.
All right.
Is it 20?
25.
25.
Apologies.
I've
25.
got it listed as
25.
Yeah,
Apologies.
that's a bit weird.
So 8, 12, 8 movement. So it certainly qualifies as a fast-moving scout.
Yes, definitely.
We're looking
at a quad. Oh my god.
Yeah. So it does have an XL engine. You're looking at about 72 points of armor, but look, it is very fast. It is very maneuverable, which is what you want. A streak 2 and a couple of medium lasers on the 1A variant. There's a few variants out there, but this is sort of like the main one.
The 1A and the 2A are the only ones listed on non-box set that I've got here that are scouts. The 5A is a scout, and I don't have any others than that. So there's 3 variants that are scouts. There's 2 that are listed as strikers.
Yeah,
but that's 8, 12, 8, and it's a quad, so it gets the bonuses on like piloting skill checks and all that junk.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you've got high movement and jump capable. That helps you a lot with that too.
That is really good.
It's really nice. So, so Korean Enterprises, all right, they're the guys that made the Goliath quad, all right, and they had a lot of success with that one. They wanted to basically make a scout unit, but they wanted to avoid a lot of the problems with the Scorpion. The Scorpion is another. It's a great mech. I love the look of it, and I love that sort of thing. But it is a bit of a rough ride.
It's a
one
bit
of those
nasty.
things. I think it actually has a quirk about it that's a bit of a rough ride or whatever it's.
Yeah.
So the Tarantula was designed for stability. That was one of the main things. If it's going to go that fast, they have to make sure that the gyro's like top notch and all the equipment's good. So.
Oh yeah.
So that was good. They fixed that. So it's actually quite a good ride. So very, very fast, very stable. Energy weapons, efficient ammo weapons, more than enough heat sinks. I mean, it's got 10 double heat sinks, and the amount it only does 8 or 9 heat, If you jump, it's a lot more.
If you jump, it's 8.
If you're running, you might get about.
It's only got
10.
8 heat if its streak goes off.
Yeah, so there you go. So
that's 16. If you jump to full and every one of your weapons fires, then you've got 16 and you've got 10 double heat sinks. So you're fine.
Yeah.
As long as you don't take any damage to heat sinks or engine.
That's right.
You're not generating much.
But it's a good thing because if you're again scouts, remember they're going to be going into that's the whole point. They're going into territory that they need to confirm what is there and what is not. And if you go into a city, you've probably got your standard infantry, and if they start hurling like inferno rockets at you and things like that, you've got plenty of heat sinks to counter all of that. So it has a lot of advantages. It's really good.
So the 2A isn't much out from that, but it's 3060 instead of 3054, adds about 100 to the BV, but takes ER mediums instead of standard mediums.
Which is nice.
Which is not bad.
Extra range is good.
Especially for a scout.
Yeah.
Because you want to stay as far away from things as you can, really. But so those are cool.
So there's a little footnote here about its deployment and things like that. So because of this mech's unusual nature, many pilots simply will not accept an assignment to it, preferring instead to enter the ranks of the dispossessed. That's pretty harsh, eh?
Wow.
That is pretty harsh.
That's just mean.
Probably because of the way that the Scorpion was and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So with this in mind, the Tarantula was assigned on a purely voluntary basis. So unit commanders are offered the mech and they consult with their people for volunteers. So the public relations department for Koreans is basically busy working out a promotional holovid for distribution to these appropriate units or whatever, utilizing actual battle footage and mech warrior testimonials.
No.
And that's how they're basically going to get it around there. So it's probably going to take a while.
Yeah, you've got to get over the stigma of the light quad.
Yeah, but everything about it, everything they design, it does what it's supposed to do, and that's what I really like about it. But I love quads. It looks really good. It does. It looks like a big spider and stuff. I love that head.
The like foxy head with the horns on there. It's so very nice. Cool.
But it's cool. Yeah, it's really cool, and I like the weapons.
You got an advanced version here that if people are playing a lot later years, like 3100s, you can get a really nice little unit there. You got an 8, 12, 16 drops the jump jets. So it's 8, 12, 16 with mask. But it's got a C3 boosted system, which means that if the master goes down, the slave can take over for a certain number of points, and it carries an ER large laser. That's a really solid little mech.
Fast moving that can attack you at range for a scout is nice,
and transmits targeting data too.
Yeah, that's right.
Really nice.
So it doesn't have, even though it was like an older design, like 30, we're looking at 3055 tech readout, like I said. So there is things like tag, there is your Beagle active probe, there is your Guardian ECM. It doesn't have the tonnage for that sort of thing. I mean, you could sacrifice jump to add it on. There are options, but I mean, if you just want something that's fast, that can get a good visual, that's reliable weapons. It's a good choice. I like it, and to be able to sidestep and things like that, getting into confined areas, it's good. It's really good.
That is one I wouldn't mind getting a model of and having it ready to use.
Yeah,
that's a really nice little scout mech.
Yeah, but I mean, we play on the 2-inch size hexes, so they're twice the size, almost twice the size of the ones on the standard mats that you get, and being big 4-legged model and things like that, it's gonna need a little bit.
It's hard to get the quads into a standard hex.
But it's designed such that you could put your little infantry models underneath, slide the base underneath, and put your vehicles under there. It's cool.
Dear.
But I really like it. Being a quad, but it's just, I don't know, it ticks all the boxes for me. I think it's actually quite a good mech.
It's a good solid little scout mech.
Yeah.
I like it. I reckon it's cool. And like I say, there's some quality variants there. That's very groovy. 8, 12, 8 jumping with a quad has just always been something that I like doing. It's fun.
Yeah.
I just like the idea of the jumping spider. It's very cool. Are you ready to have your mind blown?
Oh, here we go. Okay, come on.
I know you like quads, and I was looking through the list, and I thought, well, we haven't technically covered super lights or super heavies yet. Right, so we haven't technically touched on super lights or super heavies. But I have mentioned super lights because I think somebody said something about a flea or something along the lines, and I was like, oh, I think that's a super light one. But there is a variant of the flea that's a super light.
Yes, right. That's right.
So what there also is a very early experiment with drone control.
Oh, no. Yeah.
Okay, so the drone control means that you basically don't have to have a pilot in there. You don't need the space for a cockpit. You don't need any of that sort of stuff. You've just got, in this case, in the right torso, there's a drone operating system thing, and it takes up one space, and I think it's a ton for the drone control, but you can operate it remotely. You don't have to have your pilot there, which is cool.
Yeah.
So when I looked at the light mechs, the scouts, the BattleMechs, and all these 15-ton ones came up, I thought, maybe we shouldn't cover that. And then I looked one up. Have you heard of the Celerity?
No.
Celerity. It basically just means fast.
Like
speed,
celebrity?
Right?
Or
yeah, it's kind of like celebrity,
sort of like
without the B. So Celerity, Celerity.
Okay.
It is a quad mech. It is a 15-ton super light quad mech that is remote controlled.
Super light.
Super light. And it is fast as boy.
Oh, wow. Yeah?
It is fast as. It is all it carries is a C3I. That's it.
Oh,
all it's got is a C3I. It carries that in its head, and it apparently has a full head ejection system in order to save the C3I. Okay? They went, well, I mean, the drone operating systems, they're experimental anyway. We're not really fussed about them, but we want that C3I back. So
definitely.
We want that back. So that is the only thing it carries apart from the drone control, right? At least in the standard version. But it can move 1624. And it has a mask system. So technically, in bursts, it can go up to 32 movement points per turn.
My
in bursts. 32 movement points. Now, to do this, they took a quad, which is just insane. I'm going to bring the picture up so you can have a look, actually.
Okay.
Because it's really, really cool looking. But it has almost no armor. There's 1 ton of armor there. And it's just got the C3I, but it is super, super fast. And you do not have to worry about your pilot there. I mean, for the game, it's not that big a deal, but in lore, you're not jeopardizing a pilot. It's like a drone strike.
Yeah.
An aerial drone, right?
Yeah.
But in order to do it, see, look at that.
Oh, looks like a little horse or something, like a dog.
Yeah, like a horse and a dog and a jaguar all got together and went,
Wow.
But in order to get that 1634, they had to only give it a ton of armor, and they had to cram an XXL fusion engine into it. So it's only got 16 points of armor on it in total, and if it breaches any of its torsos and loses a torso, it is dead. It's kaput. Yeah. It's gone. Right? But it's got a full head ejection system, so it takes it off. But they developed this Comstar's attempt at creating an expendable drone reconnaissance BattleMech. So that it started immediately after the Tukiad battle, and they started trying to put control systems into various bits and pieces. But they... so the Blessed Order used it in the in the battle against the Republic of the Sphere. It's been used all around the place, but it's a 240 rated double XL engine with mask and a C3I module. There's a couple of variants that give you various bits and pieces, but it's just
So charge damage against something? You just eject the C3I against
it'd kill itself.
Well, yeah, I mean, imagine the damage.
You've got that C3I, you've got 5 other units, and this base variant is 157 BV. 157 BV.
And you don't need, it's a quad, so you don't have to worry about piloting increases or anything like that. You wouldn't even bother modifying it.
No, you can get a 0-0 pilot in that for 380 BV.
I mean, unless you're going to do physical attacks.
Exactly. But I mean, you go 0-2, 347. Right, you're not doing much with it, so you can just keep it at 157.
Yeah, that's what it is for scouting.
It's just a C3 system,
and sharing that fire control with everyone. That's my gosh.
Yeah.
So you have that with 5 vanquishers or something like that.
Yeah.
You just go berserk.
If you've got 5 other units and this guy is running just in and around, nobody is hitting something that's moving at up to 32 in short bursts. There's no way.
It has more than enough points to spend on going through any amount of terrain it really needs to pay to go through. It is sealed, right? So it could go through water.
It counts as a super light mech. It's just the drone control thing. But yeah, it's got very little. I'm hogging the sheet here. You look at that armor.
It's got more inside.
It's got more internal structure than it has actual armor, which is ridiculous.
Now, C3I and C3 works underwater.
Yes.
So you get it into a level 2.
Well, yeah, you can get it into...
You'd have to go into the water after it, and it's got such a huge movement, and it's quad, so it's more stable, moving hex to hex.
But even in like urban combat, like we've been doing a little bit around the place with lots of terrain, you are within a few hexes of whoever you're shadowing, and they're not going to be able to hit you. You get in behind cover, and anyone who actually manages to get line of sight on you because they had better initiative or whatever, they've got like a +7, +8. I mean, 25 plus hexes is a +6. Right, so as long as you can move at least half of your 32 in actual hexes, you're getting a +4, and if you get any better than that, you're getting a 5 or a 6. That's ridiculous.
Wow, that's so useful. I'm finding that the quads for scouts seem to be. I'm leaning heavily towards that. They're really good.
Yeah, They did the head, like there's a couple of variants that are like just standard type variants, but then they also did an Omni version.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the Omni versions, there's the A, B, C, D, and E, and they go through just taking that C3I out or dropping a little bit of something and putting different things in. So there's the A has 2 clan spec improved one-shot SRM-6 launchers.
Ooh.
The B has an Angel ECM suite. The C is a remote sensor dispenser and a Beagle active probe. The D just gets 2 ER flamers. And the E gets an ER medium laser and an improved heavy medium laser, both built to clan spec. But it's just...
Really?
There's a couple of variants with superchargers as well. I love that one. I reckon it's great.
I like the look of it.
Yeah.
That picture's great.
It's very cool,
like,
isn't it?
Is that Plog or whatever? Yeah, it looks like his work. Yeah, it's so nice. It hasn't got feet, it's just got knobs.
Yeah.
Like a rubbery, knobby thing that seems to be...
It looks like one of those... you see the robot testing things
what are they called?
where they've got the robot dogs.
Boston Dynamics and things
it
like
looks
that.
Like one of them on steroids.
Sort of, yeah.
If they've perfected the tech and they've got it all beefed up and they've started putting weird spiky things on it, and you get the celerity.
It's missing a tail though. I'd want it to have a little waggy tail. I need to have some sort of man's best friend something in there. I know it runs around packing ammunition, weapons and stuff like that, but. I don't know.
I thought I probably shouldn't do super lights because we haven't done super lights. But when I saw that and I realized it was a quad and remote controlled, I'm like,
definitely,
I have to cover this one.
Yeah,
it's so cool. It's so very, very cool.
It is very cool.
And you're not getting, you're not eating into your BV at all.
Not really. To
put that thing on the battlefield, and it's just running around with that C3 system. Even if you just take the base model, that C3 system is within range of everybody at all times.
Yeah, that's wherever you need it.
There is no hiding from that thing.
Ah, that's right.
It's brilliant. I love it.
Because otherwise you're using probably hover vehicles and things like that to try and that's hard to match that speed. That's insane, isn't it?
I think maybe a VTOL or a very light, very very light but very beefed up hover might be able to match that. But I mean, 1624, even without the mask, that is very difficult to get that sort of speed out of anything.
Yeah.
And like I say, if one medium laser to the wrong spot and it'll blow up. But it's going to be hard to get a medium laser in any spot on that thing.
I mean, it's essentially a lucky shot. If you're a standard sort of gunnery and things like that,
I mean, if you're working with a 4 gunnery to start with, and you've got that what is it, a 5? Yeah, 18 to 24 hexes is a +5. 10 to 17 hexes is a +4. Even if you're only moving at like 16 hexes, you're managing to actually move through, you're still getting a +4, which is doubling their target number.
God, it's such a good unit for missile boats. Such a good unit.
Yeah. Or sit something like, I don't know if the C3I guys did this. I don't know if the Wobbies did this, but something like an Alicorn. If you sit something like an Alicorn up on a hill and it's got C3I, I don't think there's an Alicorn version with C3I, but something like that with lots of Gauss rifles and PPCs and things. You sit that on a hill and have this thing running around and giving you short range everywhere. Holy crap, you're doing damage.
Yeah, I think like I mentioned the Vanquisher, I think that's a Juggernaut, which we'll cover later, I'm sure, when it comes around. But, I mean, that's just loaded. It's a slower unit, but it's got long-range weapons. We're talking like LRMs and ER large with the C3I, so...
Okay,
you know, that would be ideal for that. Get that up on the hill and just.
That one's listed as a sniper with Gauss rifles.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. It was the light one, I think, because it was done in conjunction with the Free Worlds League at the time.
There's 2 light Gauss rifles in that version there, so that would be a good one. Things like the Gunslinger or the what's the other one that blew my head off?
What, literally in a game, you faced it and it took one of your...
I think it wasn't the Gunslinger, it was the other one. Damn,
Galahad?
No, but the Galahad would be a good one.
Good too, yeah.
But I thought that was pretty cool.
That is cool. Thank you for showing me that. I've never actually seen it.
Sheet if you want. It's all nice.
It is nice. It's ready to go. Well, now that you've got one, we'll have to come and figure something out.
We'll have to see if we can find a mini that'll cover that.
That hunting protomechs or something could be quite interesting.
Yeah, that's I mean, it doesn't actually have weapons except if you take like different units, and it can't take damage. But it is the ultimate scout. 345 kilometers an hour with mask. You can get that wherever you need it to be on a battlefield, lore-wise, without any troubles.
Yeah, that's true.
It's good stuff.
Oh, I like
good
that.
Stuff. What have you got, buddy? I see you looking over there.
Yeah. So I was looking at the Fireball.
Nice.
Right? So this is a 20 ton mech. Okay. Now this one was developed when the Federated Commonwealth was a thing. So the Lyran Commonwealth and the Federated Sons joined together through the marriage thing or whatever. The clans invaded, and they basically got together at the New Avalon Institute of Science to basically come up with something that could take on the elementals. Because at that time, they didn't really know how to face them, you know, and every house had its own view of how to take them on. I think overall the Draconis Combine had the right idea.
Because they did the
Komodo.
Yeah.
Okay, so, but I mean, that's another 30 tons heavier. Okay?
Yeah.
So this guy here, they wanted something, there was a lot of designs and things like that were put forward, but this one seemed to be the most promising one. So clan elementals swarm onto the battlefield in large numbers. So they wanted a design that was like quick and could do like a high rate of fire sustained for extended periods of time. And they didn't sort of worry too much about having too much armor. The speed would help you the most. Well, that's what they thought anyway.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at the 7D Fireball.
Yeah.
All right. So 20 tons. It does have an XL engine. It's 11 walk and a 17 run.
Yeah.
All right. So that's some good speed.
That's quality.
Yeah.
But I'm seeing why the Komodo beats it out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So 64 armor factor. It has a machine gun with a ton of ammo, so 200 shots, and a streak 2 with a ton of 50 reloads.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not great, but that speed is, as a scout, is very useful.
Oh yeah.
You know?
Yeah. That's quality. 1117 is way faster than the Komodo too.
Yeah. It doesn't have case, so it's all ammunition, but it has a lot, so it sort of fulfills that extended period of combat and things like that. But
but one of your torsos gets destroyed, and you're looking at critical hits possible, and nasty stuff could happen.
You out. Yeah. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, they made some other variants, which is obviously you're going to do it, because once you sort of get into combat with the enemy, you're going to find some problems.
And the 8D is listed as a scout. The 9D is listed as a scout.
Scout, yes.
And
there's a XF version, which is I don't know. I think that's like a techie one.
The 10D is a striker. Let's look at Innosphere Advanced Experimental. Oh, yep, the XF listed as a scout. XL gyro and double XL engine. Holy crap! 1624.
1624. Yeah. I mean, if you're that brittle, then speed's what you got. Speed is your armor, but
Mask
you can do a lot with
supercharger.
it. Yeah, that's really good. But I mean, some of the basic sort of things. One of the changes was it replaces the Streak 2 and the ammo in the left torso with 2 medium lasers,
which is much better against the elementals.
Yeah,
much better.
I mean, it's only got 10 single heat sinks, but your machine gun doesn't generate any heat, so it doesn't really matter.
It's not a bad unit.
But there's a different guy in the same company or whatever came up with a different version. So replace the machine gun and the ammo of that with a medium laser and some additional armor. So it has the Streak 2, more armor, and a medium laser. And they reckon
that
a
half ton of extra armor and a ton for the ammo would go to a medium laser.
Yeah. Because I mean, center torso front is 9. So, you know, I mean, infantry start giving you problems.
Yeah, they would, yeah.
I mean, they're struggling to deal with elementals. Wait until you come up against the protomechs that can keep up with you and all that.
Yeah, that's it. The only thing it's got going against, like, infantry and things like that is the fact that it is way faster than they could ever be. And the elementals even are only, a jump 3 or something?
Yes.
A jump 2?
Yeah.
So
it's the missiles that... It has no anti-missile system and things like that to fight. But... Again, speed. You can for a scout. It's got the speed. It's I don't know. I'd probably go with some of the other variants, but I don't know. There's something about it. I like it.
I mean, one of the variants of the Celerity has a supercharger as well, but that thing can get up to 40 with the XF.
Yeah,
that's insanely fast.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
But on the flip side, I'll keep going if that's all right, because there's another one.
Yeah, you've got one extra that
talking about the like some of the other factions and how they dealt with the clans. So there's for the Draconis Combine, because of their way of sort of one-on-one combat and honor and things like that, a lot of the light sort of designs, they sort of got pushed to one side because they're not that useful and things like that for the way of the warrior. But when the clans came along, that sort of changed everything. So the arrival of clans changed all that. They were also believers in single combat, but they had the superior technology, so they'd go up against them and they'd just get owned. And you
cannot take them on in single combat. You will not win.
With that technology and things like that, the Innosphere just doesn't meet it. Especially at that time, it was just terrible. So they were having some problems, and what they had to do, and it was a bit hard, but you know, they sacrificing their personal honor and converting it to the house, the dragon, the state.
Yeah.
You know, so put that aside.
Honor for your country rather than for yourself.
That's it, exactly right. But that would also mean that they need to sort of do a little bit of a change in how mechs are designed and things like that. So you want to give them something that helps them to battle as a group, if they need to fight as a group.
Yeah.
And one of them is the Kabuto. All right? So this one, I kind of like this. It looks pretty good.
It's got funky legs.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, that's the main thing. But I mean, it's a 7-Eleven movement, so you'd expect it to have something like that. Yeah, so the most recent addition is the Kabuto, named for the elaborate helmet of the armor that encases the mech's head assembly. And if you guys go look it up or whatever, you can see the picture of it and things like that. It's very cool. But it's the legs I was looking at and I go, whoa, it looks so weird.
So you've got the 7A there, right?
The 7A is the one I'm looking at. Yeah.
That's actually listed as a striker, but there is a Kabuto version that is listed as a scout.
Yes.
So
So let's have a look at the scout version.
So the 7B.
The 7B.
So you've got the 7A.
I'm looking at the 7A.
What's he carrying?
Because the 7A was again a striker, and it makes sense. It's got 2 streak 4s.
Yes.
All right. Yep. So that does sort of make sense. So 7-Eleven, 2 streak 4s. It's got 1 ton of ammo, so that's not a problem.
So the 7B,
it's based after that Hitman. So if you've had a look at the Hitman, which is an excellent
looking mech.
That's an excellent mech for what it does.
That's a really good one.
Medium lasers, tag. It's got advanced tech. It's really good.
Yeah. So the 7B is nearly 10 years, 9 years after that one.
Yeah.
For like 100 extra points, but it's actually listed as a scout, and it's a 7-Eleven with the 69, so full armor coverage.
Yep.
But it's got 2 light PPCs, 1 in each torso.
I like that.
That's a solid unit.
That's nice. That's a nice weapon. That's 5 damage out to 18 hexes.
Yeah.
That's really good.
And 5 heat, yeah.
Yeah.
But he's got 11 heat sinks, so he can walk and fire both of them without building heat up, and he can run and fire both and only take 1 point of heat. So you could do that for 3 or 4 turns.
Yep.
Without taking, because it's 5, you get a modifier to your thing. Yeah, 5 is -1 movement point. So you could do that for 4 turns. Run and fire both of them for 4 turns, and then skip one of them for a turn.
And you're okay.
And you're fine.
Yeah, as long as you've got no other external things affecting you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. And again, you run them as a lance. You could take a lance of these, and they'd work quite well together, I think.
Yeah, and they'd be pretty good as scout units. They're light and fast, but they'd still have a decent punch. I mean, 10 points at a time.
Yep.
That's pretty good per mech.
Yeah. So the B variant obviously has the longer range, which is what you want.
Yeah.
But I think if you actually did put in one of the striker versions, the 7A in there, mix it up, give it a bit more firepower or whatever.
Yeah.
More hit at close range.
And I think we mentioned it at the beginning. The striker is meant to be in groups.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. So that it's meant to be in a group. So 4 of those with those streak 4s, they're taking things apart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the 7B with that weapon loadout as a scout is very good.
Very cool.
Very good. I like it. I like the look. It looks so gangly and stuff. I love it.
Yeah. I'm gonna blow your mind a little again here.
Okay.
I've got one that doesn't exist.
Oh.
So I can see you there with the master unit list loaded up. So if you run down to the 55 tonners and have a look there under R, you've got the Rime Otter.
Rime Otter?
The Rime Otter. Now, it's rime as in frosted around an edge, not rime as in iambic pentameter. It's not a wrapping otter, it's a frosty otter. But it's a cool... very, very cool little thing. The D variant is listed as a scout. Now, it comes up in Master Unit List, obviously, and it comes up on Sana as a 3146 Jotun Battleworks Clan Omnimech. Have you seen him before?
No, that's sexy as hell.
It's a good-looking little mech, isn't it?
Wow.
So you guys, look that one up on Sana and have a squiz. It's a little expensive, but it's a 55-tonner. It's using Case 2, which is very, very cool. But if you go into Mega Mech Lab and type in Rime Otter, which is what you usually do, and you go into Clan, and you go Clan Advanced, and you go Clan Experimental, and you go Clan Unofficial, and nothing happens. It doesn't come up.
Oh.
It does not exist in in Mega Mech Lab. But it's a very cool looking little thing. It's Clan Ghost Bear. and the Rasselhag guys.
Oh, okay. So around
after
that
the
time.
invasion, they sort of like joined together as like a Dominion thing, right?
Well, they got
Is that
gobbled
right?
up. Yeah, see, they had like 40 something planets that were free and became the Rasla, and then the clans came in and gobbled them down to like 7.
Okay.
I think there are only the 7 left because Comstar was sort of helping out or whatever it is. But yeah, eventually they just joined them and
Joined up with the
became
clan
a thing.
Ghost
Yeah,
Bears.
yeah, that's
Okay.
right.
So this was a joint effort to build an Omni-Mech between the remnants of the Rasselhags and the Ghost Bears that were kind of they wanted to have like a team building exercise. So they thought, we'll get you guys, you hate each other, but let's make an Omni-Mech together.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Look, of all the clans, there's some clans are just absolute bleh.
Yeah.
Some of them are nice. They
Yeah.
try to integrate.
I actually quite like the Ghost Bears.
Yeah,
I think
they're
maybe
pretty
I'll
cool.
be painting some of them up at some point. But
Yeah.
so it's meant to be fairly fast. So it gets an XL engine. It's out to 86 k's an hour. I can't look that up on the thing because I think it's a 5.8, but it's got mask as well, so it can go out to 10. So to be a 5.8 but 10 with mask. And the D variant, right? Scout and Spotter by design. The D configuration uses its improved jump jets. Doesn't tell you how many, but it's got improved jump jets to reach and mark targets. To accomplish it, it has a light active probe and light tag in the center and right arm.
Ooh.
It's got a NARC launcher with 2 tons of pods, which is nice.
Yeah, that's good.
And an SRM-6 with 1 ton of ammo.
Okay.
It's also got 3 ER medium lasers in the right arm.
Nice. There you go.
And that is a quality scout spotter.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that's a good one. It's a 5.8/10 with improved jump jets, and I'm thinking there's probably at least 4 improved jump jets, which would give it a jump of 5. I'm fairly certain.
Yeah.
And it's got good solid weaponry. Nothing like super extravagant, but for a lighter scout mech, for a medium scout mech, technically it's 55 tons. For a medium scout mech, it's got decent armor and weaponry. But that light active probe and the light tag and then a NARC launcher, that's quality.
Yeah, definitely.
But it doesn't exist. So I think maybe that one being 3146 is reasonably new or something like that, and they just haven't caught up with Mega Mech Lab and all that sort of thing. But
True. It could be mentioned in like a separate source book or
it's possible.
or something like that.
The only thing it comes up with under references is the Ill Clan recognition guide.
Okay. Yes.
Which is probably why.
Yes.
There's an MUL profile for it, obviously, because that's where I found it. But the only other reference is a recognition guide. So I think maybe that one just hasn't made it into the like official canon type stuff yet.
Yeah.
So it's not in Mega Mech Lab. I don't think it's in Solaris, but you guys can have a squiz for that. But I quite like it, and there's a couple of variants that are like really actually quite cool. It uses Case 2 and it uses Artemis 5. We haven't gone through... have we done Case 2? I think we did Case 2 at one point, but I don't know if we mentioned it. I don't know if it's gone live or not yet. But it's a very cool medium scout mech. I quite like it. And it looks groovy.
So is it a combination of clan and inner sphere tech? Or is it all clan just built
I think it's all clan tech, but built with...
Just built in the inner sphere.
With inner sphere stuff.
Yeah.
There's 18.5 tons of pod space.
That's generous.
Yeah. I don't think there's anything in there about whether or not they're all clan or all that. So I'm assuming they're all clan spec things. The original has... for reference, a large pulse laser in each arm, and an LRM-10 with the Artemis 5, and Case 2 protecting the ammo.
Okay.
It's also got an extra heatsink and stuff like that, but there's one with some LRM-15s, streaks, There's improved heavy stuff, there's an LBX, There's one with like 6 ER medium lasers in one arm and a 4-ton hatchet in the other arm.
Oh, hello.
And it's also got 4 jump jets and a supercharger.
Oh.
And that's... but the spotter design just stuck out. I thought that's a cool little set of like, it's got decent move, it's got jump, it's got the electronica that I like using, it's got NARC, which is gold for spotters, and it's got the SRM to defend itself and the ER mediums to pack a little bit of a punch.
Yeah.
I quite like it. I thought it was cool, but it didn't exist, and it's like, well, now I have to talk about it.
Now we have to talk about it. So now it does.
Now it does exist.
Now exists
But
because
now
we've
you know
said it
about
does.
it.
Yeah.
The Rhyme Otter. Very cool.
Yeah.
Now you're looking at one that I was going to look at.
Okay, well, let's
So we're going to
discuss
do
it
this one together.
Because, and you're right, because we'd be crazy to talk about Scout Mechs and leave this one out. Because
Absolutely nuts to leave this out.
Yeah. So this is the Raven, which is a House Lao, so Capella Confederation. It was basically, at the time, it was an experimental design for a full-on electronic warfare unit that would be useful for larger contingencies. So battalion, regiment, that sort of thing.
So it gets assigned at that sort of level.
Yes.
And I think the original options that they had there failed. That it didn't do what it was supposed to do or something like that, they had to scale it down.
They had to scale it down and sort of fix it up and things like that. But I really like this mech. It looks cool and it does what it's supposed to do.
And if you're into electronic warfare,
which you should be,
this thing is gold.
It is, yeah.
It is absolute gold.
Yeah, and I think there is now a plastic version of it.
I'm pretty sure in the new version there's a thing.
But you can get it from Ironwood Metals. If you go to the Alpha Strike site, you should be able to see it there. So we have sold it. But this is really good. 35 tons, okay? 6.9 movement. It does have an XL engine to get to that, but look,
which sucks. But
yeah, single heat sinks, probably to keep the costs down. You know, that's
but it doesn't need much.
No, it doesn't. So SRM 6 with 1 ton of reload with case, which is nice. So it's protected there. It also has a NARC missile beacon and the pods, 6 pods. So one
I think that's 1 ton.
1 ton. So that's also all in the left torso, all protected by case. It has a couple of medium lasers in the right arm, so some nice energy weapons all around the same range as the SRM-6. Beagle active probe, Guardian ECM, and tag.
It's solid.
Yeah.
If you want to delve into electronic warfare, get yourself a model, get yourself a record sheet or 3 like I've got here, and just start in it. That single mech there with all of that electronic stuff on it is only 710 BV.
Yep.
Because of all the XL engineered explosive and all that sort of stuff, it drops the BV right down, and 710 is very affordable for a scouting, like a light lance. If you want something to scout for you, it's good.
Yeah. But as soon as someone's got like artillery, the Arrow 4, that becomes absolutely deadly. Absolutely deadly.
That tag brings stuff in. It brings in semi-guided missiles. The NARC beacon brings in NARC equipped without needing a spotter.
Yep.
So it can run in, NARC something, tag something else, and then run away again.
Yeah.
It's got everything you need. The ECM blocks all the other electronica.
Yep.
The Harebrained Schemes one. Did you get very far with the campaign on that? No, I didn't think so. I eventually completed it. It's very good. But there's, I think there was a couple of missions, but I remember one specifically. One of the missions where they give you a Raven, and you have to move around. And the Raven's got abilities that let you cloak your friendlies.
Okay.
So the ECM type takes them out of the like sight lines of the enemy.
Yeah.
So as long as you don't do anything dumb and like walk them right up to somebody or shoot somebody, they're practically invisible.
That's right. Yeah.
It's really, really cool, even
cool.
in the electronic versions.
It does. It's a bit short on armor.
A bit.
It is, yeah, quite a bit. So I mean, the leg internal structure, for example, is 8, and its armor value is 8.
Yeah, that's the 3L you've got there, right?
This is So the 3L was basically the first one. They have done some other variants of it to like more advanced techs. I think there's some like ER lasers and things like that.
Yeah.
But there are some where they've just changed quite a bit of the weapons loadouts from memory.
See,
And
technically, the 3L is listed as a striker.
Yes, that's
because
right.
of the SRM6 and all of that other stuff.
Yes,
I think,
but there is a
but there
scout.
are multiple Raven versions that are scouts.
Yeah, I think probably the 4.
There's a Raven 2 as well, which is pretty cool.
Hmm.
So the 1X, the 3L. Oh, the 3L.
The 3L is a
listed
scout.
It
is
it's
a scout.
listed in Mega Mech Lab as a striker.
Okay, no, I was
there
pretty
you
sure
go.
that was a scout because it is. I'm pretty sure they're all scouts
I think they would all be scouts, but
because of the
actually says here
technology
roll
as well.
striker.
Yeah,
which is weird.
Yeah, no.
So
it's a scout.
that's the thing is make sure you're getting your information from multiple sources because it just makes more sense.
It screams scout.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Oh, it's got to be a scout. I would have picked it as a scout, but pretty much every single one of them is a scout. I think. I don't think there's many that are not.
I'm sure. We'll have to have a look, but I'm sure there's a version with mask.
It's possible. Oh crap! It's my get up and walk alarm. I think there's the 3M is listed as a missile boat because it's got the LRM-15.
Yeah.
No, that one doesn't have mask.
The 4 doesn't the 4L has the bigger lasers, doesn't it? I'm sure it does.
It's got 2 ER mediums.
ER mediums, yeah.
It's got the active probe, the ECM, the NARC pod, and the tag, and an SRM6, but it converts those to ER mediums. And 10 double heat sinks.
I was going to say,
well,
that's good because that frees up a ton. So there's another ton that's gone somewhere.
Yeah.
On that.
So I've got on like I went through. I've got one of those alphabetized, the pull out folder things. You know.
Yep.
Concertina folder.
Yeah, concertina. Yeah.
And I went through that and I thought, scouts. And I looked through scouts and I got to R. And I pulled out 3 versions of the Raven in rapid succession. So I've got the 4LR here, I've got the 3M, and I've got the 4L. And the 4L is the one we just did with the SR and the tag and the big active probe, but ER mediums. But the 4LR gives you an MML7. Yeah, with 2 tons of ammo, which is cool. So you can mix that up. With Artemis 4 fire control.
Oh, yes.
It's still got a beagle active probe. It's still got the ECM. Yep. It's still got the tag.
Nice.
And it's got 3 ER mediums.
Excellent.
Yeah.
That's good.
Which is just a really solid unit.
Yeah.
But that's 3080. So
yeah,
anywhere from 3048 upwards, you can find a Raven version that will do something that you want it to do if you want a scout that has electronica.
Yeah. If I was playing like a company level game, I would seriously consider a Raven. Yeah. I would seriously consider a Raven because it offers a lot.
Yeah. Especially if you're heavy on things like missile boats, artillery, anything with that sort of effect, you are looking at this and going, well, I don't think I need anything else.
No. Well, I don't want C3 affecting me and C3I affecting me because it's in that era where that stuff is quite relevant. So it's definitely a Raven. Get a Raven if you can. It's a good looking mech too. I actually like the design of it.
That was also in which Mech Warrior was it? 3?
Was it?
I think it was 3 in the opening cinematic.
Oh,
he runs behind the Timberwolf and shoots him with an SRM.
Wasn't that?
Was it a Raven or was it a Locust?
Mech Warrior, it was Mech Commander.
Mech Commander, that was it. Yeah,
that was a good game too.
Yeah, so he runs behind a Timberwolf and shoots him with his SRMs, and the Timberwolf just turns around and the dude's in the cockpit going, "Now what?
Run!" Of course.
And eventually leads him to like a trap, and they all come in and bash the Timberwolf, and it was hilarious. Yeah. But I remember him running like for his life through there. But it's a quality scout. It's one of the best.
I like it.
I mean, you just did an Innisphere one, so why don't I do a clan one?
We'll finish on a. Oh no!
I've got
charger.
a bunch.
Where's the charger?
I've got a bunch more. You You said long form and scouts. You people are here for the ride. What time are we on here? Nearly an hour. Right. I got some speed running to do here. Let's warm the fingers up and get typing. Okay. I liked the Ion Sparrow, the butcher bird. Have you heard of that one?
I have not heard of that one.
Okay. So it is a light. That was not what I wanted. It's a very light clan OmniMech. I think it was OmniMech. Yeah. So Ion Sparrow.
Ion Sparrow.
Ion as in ion cannon.
Okay. Oh, okay. Ion Sparrow. All right.
Yeah. Not iron.
Oh.
So that's him there, and he's just a funky looking little mech.
Whoa.
I'm sure I've seen him in like cover art or something somewhere along the way, but it's very, very cool little mech. Wow. So it's 3147 again. I'm looking at a lot of late scale ones, but it is a clan OmniMech.
Jade Falcon.
Falcon.
It looks like a Jade. Yeah. Okay.
First encountered by the Lyrans and was introduced by Clan Jade Falcon as an experimental testbed for the advanced partial wing system, which was the little flange things that you saw up there, right? So he's got. Did I print an Ion Sparrow? I don't think I did. Oh, yes, I did. So there's the butcher bird. Okay. Ion Sparrow. I think that's just the base level one. Right, Excel engine, ferrofibrous armor, and a small cockpit to save weight, and endosteel. 8 jump jets. 8 jump jets. And a partial wing.
So 10 jump with the partial wing.
Yeah.
Yummy.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It works with the double heat sinks to dissipate more heat as well, so you can dissipate more heat with that. 2 improved heavy medium lasers in the left arm and a pair of AP Gauss rifles in the right arm with a ton of ammo.
Outlaw infantry, goodbye.
Yeah, it's like, no, you're not around anymore. There's an anti-infantry scout configuration with an active probe and 4 light machine guns in machine gun arrays in each arm. So that's 8 machine guns linked into 2 machine gun arrays and a half ton of ammo for each one.
Yeah, that's good though. So there's your 8 points. So
yeah, that's 8 points per array.
Two,
if you hit, bang, 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 2, which is really cool. The B variant has 2 SRM6s, so 1 in each arm.
Nice. With
a single ton of ammo, which isn't really fantastic, but they're all like 5, 6, 800 points. Apparently a replacement for the Fire Moth. The C has 3 ER small lasers in each arm, all tied into a targeting computer. And then configuration D has a pair of ER medium lasers in the left and a single medium pulse in the right arm.
Replacing the Fire Moth, eh? Oh, I don't know.
I don't know how you do that. But I just thought that it's called the Butcher Bird. I think the Butcher Bird is the Inosphere 1, and the Ion Sparrow is what it's actually meant to be called. But it's very, very cool. I quite like it.
Left and right, rear torso, 1 point of armor.
Yes.
2 on the center torso.
Yes. I didn't say it was heavily armored, but it is a scout mech. It's not meant to be mixing it up with people.
It's such a good looking unit though.
Yeah, it actually looks really, really cool. And there's a few versions of that. So the Prime, the A, the B, the C, and the D all count as scouts. And yeah, there's only one that's over 1,000, and that was the D with the extra lasers and stuff there. There's also one that the Inosphere. Well, let's stick with Clan. So another one for the Clan that is fairly late on. Is the Wolfen. And
I've heard of that one.
I only like it because it's Wolfen.
Yeah, well.
And I've seen the movie. But they're all of the versions, as far as I remember, are scouts. Wolfen. But that is a 3137 version as well.
Yeah.
And it's not a bad looking little mech. It's a bit bit blocky, but it's nice and nice and mobile.
Yeah.
Again, I think all the versions are Scouts. It's only 30 tons, so it's not like super heavy or anything. Go past the Hussars and the Spiders, and we get to the Wolfen. So the B, the D, and the Prime are the ones that we want here. And the Prime just has, I think it was an Ultra Act 2. Sorry, not an Act 2, an Ultra Act 2, and an ATM 3.
Oh, it's got some range.
Yep. So it's got solid range. It's got an ECM suite.
Nice.
Half a ton of cargo space. 1 ton of ammo for each of them, all protected by case 2.
Okay.
Which is cool. And obviously it's an Omni-Mag, so it can carry a unit.
Your battle armor.
It's a 1015.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's a 1015. It has to use an XXL engine to get that, and an XL gyro. But it's got 104 out of 105 points of armor, and it's stealth armor.
Ah, good.
So it's pretty
okay.
quality.
So we know what its purpose is. It's got some good range there.
So that's the Prime. The B and the D are both listed as Scouts as well. So the B has Supercharger. So it's a 10-15 brackets 20 with a 6 jump. So it is a very maneuverable little mech.
You'd have to have a specific unit to take that out because of that speed and range.
It's still got 104 stealth points, but it's got the supercharger, which gives it the extra speed. Its only weapon is an ER large laser, but that's linked to a targeting computer, and it's got its ECM suite for the stealth armor, and again can carry a battle armor squad because it's that. And the D is, I think this was a missile variant. I did look, but it goes in LB2X instead of the Ultra Act 2.
Okay.
So LB2X and an Artemis 5 capable SRM2, both again with a ton of ammo each, and case 2.
That'd still be useful for VTOLs and wiggies and things like that. But VTOLs, you just got to hit the rotors. You don't need lots of damage. Just you don't need hit the rotors enough.
With any vehicle, you just need locations, and that's generating more. But it's still a 10-15, and that's not awful.
That's cool.
Most of them, the D and the Prime are under 1,000, and the other one was the A, wasn't it? No, the B. So the B is 1,800, which is a bit more, but you can get the Prime and the D for under 1,000, which isn't bad for a clan mech.
Well, look, let's do one more. And you mentioned the charger before we started filming. We were talking about it. Let's look at the charger, because that design has been around for a little while. So it's an Hemisphere.
And then I've got one more thing.
Oh, you do? Okay, all right then.
No, we'll do the charger.
Do the charger. All right, so this is an 80-ton mech, but it's, depending on which version you go for, it's not really popular with some of them.
The 1A1 is the one that everybody will know because it's the one that's covered in small lasers and socks.
Yeah. LRM-20, couple of tons, Artemis fire control, which is still nice. And I mean, this is an upgraded one that I'm looking at here. This one actually has 4 medium pulse lasers. And an LRM-20.
Okay.
But I'm not sure if this one comes under Scout.
I don't think it does, no.
It's the 3K.
The 3K is non-box set, I think. Yeah. And it's a skirmisher.
It's a skirmisher, no.
So it's LRM-20 and the Artemis and all that jazz, but it's still a 585 with an LRM-20 and some medium pulse lasers.
It's good.
An 80-ton mech, that's pretty solid.
But there was a version of it, the Charger, the 1A1 and the 1X1
is the original.
And then there's the 2A2.
Yeah. So the 1A1 is the original, and that's a 5'8", 80-ton mech with like 5 small lasers on it.
Yeah. There was nothing else. It was...
Is it 5? Yeah, 5. It's got 160 tons of standard armor, and it's 5.8.
Yeah.
And that's it. The one I like is the 1X. The 1X is an experimental one, I'm pretty sure. Wait, where are you? There he is. I've actually got the record sheet.
Oh, great. Okay. Oh, yeah.
So the 1X is an experimental one. It is a scout. It's Jihad era. So it's in the 3100s plus. But it's got a 400 XL engine, which is just rude. Yeah. And it's got masks. So it goes 5.8, but it can push it up to 13 because it's got a supercharger as well. It's got laser AMS in each torso.
Yes.
The two right and left torsos. It's got a medium X pulse laser, which is just extended range pulse lasers.
Yeah.
It's got an ER large laser in the center torso, and it's got tag in the head.
Yes.
Bloodhound active probe, Angel ECM suite, a chaff pod, which is cool.
What does that do? I never.
We did the pod ones, and I forgot the chaff pod.
Oh. Okay.
So the chaff pod is basically for ruining missiles.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's also got a boosted C3 slave,
which is nice.
Which is just very, very cool.
And it's only just over 2,000 BV, if this is correct.
Yeah. It's what's it listed here as?
2010.
Yeah. That is a 3076 variant, and it's experimental in a sphere tech. So you're looking at some problems if you have
two laser AMS.
298.
See, that's the sort of armor that I'm used to seeing on a scout mech. For my guys.
I'm going to point out that in the actual campaign ops, there are expanded formation rules, and one of the expanded recon lances is a heavy recon lance. So you have to have I think you have to have either a heavy or an assault mech in that lance in order for it to count. But you get some extra bonuses for things. I'll go through that in a sec. But
you mean apart from kicking and punching really hard and having lots of armor and you get other stuff as well.
So in ground combat, each activated chaff pod fills the unit's hex with a cloud of obscurance 2 elevations in height. It's treated as a hex of light smoke for line of sight purposes, right? As well as a 1 hex bubble of ECM. Okay. Furthermore, the chaff cloud acts as an anti-missile system for all missile attacks made against units within the clouded hex, except those delivered by standard MRMs or rocket launchers, because they're dumb missiles.
They have no guidance.
No guidance. These effects last only during the weapon and physical attack phases of the turn in which the pod is activated. The obscurants settle and dissipate during the end phase. They have no effect in vacuum or space combat, but may be used by landed or airborne aerospace units operating in atmosphere at any altitude for the same effects. Wow. It's a one-shot item. Unfired pods explode for 3 points of damage each if they suffer a critical hit.
What an interesting piece of tech.
Yeah, and I just completely forgot about it when we were doing the pod one. And I found it later on because I was looking at something else. And I thought, I didn't do chaff pods. And I love these things. They're great.
Yeah.
But they're experimental. And he's got one or two?
I think he's got one.
I think he's got one, yeah.
That's all right.
But it basically gives you an anti-missile system, an ECM, and obscurant as if you were in a cloud of smoke. But they're great.
They're great. That's so cool.
You put 2 or 3 of them on a unit, and you're looking at very difficult 2 hits. And cluster roll diminishing and all of that sort of stuff. It's very cool.
Need to put it on that, what was it called? That little one that we looked at originally.
Oh, the celerity.
Yeah. So useful, because he could just run to wherever, any ally who needs a hand.
Pop a couple of them and boom.
Runs into the hex and...
So the heavy recon lance here, all units in this formation must have a walk cruise speed of 4 or more. And at least 2 have to have a walk cruise of 5 or more. He qualifies.
He does.
At least 1 unit must be heavy or assault. He qualifies. At least 2 units must have the scout unit roll. He qualifies. And
my gosh.
Bonus ability, so as per the standard recon lance, but you get 2 units in the formation that receive the SPA, and the SPA is either Eagle Eyes or Maneuvering Ace. And all units in this formation still receive Forward Observer, which basically just gets them better artillery bringing in
Oh.
stuff like that. So there's some really cool stuff. But yeah, you can actually make a heavy recon lance.
Imagine if you've only got a normal recon lance and you come across one of those, not expecting it.
You're just going...
There's Charger steps out of it. All right, we got one more, because I think we've covered a lot here, but if you've got one more that really...
Well, I've got one more that's an ex Solaris 7 unit, but what I really want to do is mention the vast number of vehicles that count as scouts.
Oh, yeah.
All right, there's loads of them. I've got 3 listed that I wrote down here. The Rotunda, the Data, and the Skulker are all wheeled vehicles, light wheeled vehicles that count as scouts, that are just, they're very, very cheap. They're very easy to use. There's 282 combat vehicles here, and quite a lot of them are under about 30 tons. There's a lot of VTOLs. There's a lot of hover stuff. Where's the Rotunda gun?
I think
there it is.
2 of those that you mentioned, they're Star League, aren't they? They're like
the Data and the Skulker.
I think the
Skulker was Star League, and the Rotunda was Star League. There is, interesting fact, a Rotunda that counts as a missile boat. Yeah, it's got 2 LRM-5s.
Oh,
and a ton of ammo.
Okay,
that's quality. I reckon that's cool. And none of the Rotunda ones here listed here are over 500. There's 2 that are around 300, and there's 1 that's 400. But they're all scouts. They all count as scouts. The Data and the Skulker are like 400 or 500-ish. I can't remember what size the Data was. Just a sec.
There's got to be like heaps of VTOLs and hovers.
There's loads
scouts.
of
They'd
them.
be great for that.
There's loads of them.
And the Wiggies, actually. If you had a light one of those.
I don't know how many Wiggies there are.
There's not a lot, but if you're going to design a scout unit, it would actually be quite a good choice.
Yeah. The Data is only 13 tons. But there's a Beagle Active Pro version, a C3 version, an ECM version, an SRM version, and a double SRM version. And they're all under 200 BV. They're all under 200 BV, and they're a 711 wheeled ICE.
Oh, okay. Yeah, nice.
They're quality. If you want scouts, look at vehicles if you want to save some money. I mean, the Celerity is only 157 BV, so that's your gold standard. You know, that is very high tech level. That is experimental stuff. It's all out there in the wild. But Rotundas, Datas, Skulkers, you've got Sprint helicopters, you've got all sorts of stuff. The Savannah Master has a load in there that counters that. The Swiftwind is another scout car.
Yeah.
There's just so many that are listed as scout cars that you can't cover all of them.
There was a Star League era one that it operated like drones, like hover drones and wheeled drones and things like that. So you had whatever you basically wanted. It was really good.
I had that in the thing. You can get the Pathfinder. I think it's the 3025 one, and it has a drone bay. So there's a big main vehicle, and it's got a drone bay, and you can put X number of each drone in there if you want to. And you've got one that's like a combat drone, but you've got a couple that are just like either VTOL or hover drones, and they're just really, really cool. I think it's Pathfinder or something like that. But yeah, if you want to go into
the Pack Rat's good too.
Pack Rat's a good one.
Pack Rat is and this Swiftwind, the Swiftwind Scout car. That's another one I was trying to rack my brain around. It's a little unit that zips around and things like that.
Yeah.
Vehicles are great for that sort of thing.
There's some really quality vehicles, even under 20 tons. You can get like a couple of dozen variants of things. Like even looking at 5 tons, you've got VTOLs and hovercraft that are only 5 tons that kept as scouts. Excuse me.
The High Scout Drone Carrier.
That's the one.
Yeah.
That's the one.
So it carries the Napfind or the Path Track. So the Napfind is a fast little hover. The Path Track is a tracked version of it.
Yeah.
So different speeds, things like that. But yeah, it's so good.
It's brilliant. I love it.
So it's not a combat vehicle. So there's no sort of real outstanding combat reports for it. But as far as doing its job for communication and scouting and things like that, oh, so good.
Yeah, that's it. So the High Scout drone and the High Scout, the Nap Find and the Path Track, they both count as scouts, and they're in under support vehicles.
Yeah. The Nap Find is 2 tons. It's teeny tiny. Teeny tiny.
So you've got this tracked, like, drone carrier thing, and it opens a bay door at the back, and you can send out a little tracked drone, or you can send out a little hover drone.
Yeah.
And you just drive them around, and they're great. And that was in a very early record sheet, TRO.
Yes, it was. Yeah, it's the 3026, which focused on vehicles and personal equipment and stuff, which is a great book.
The one with the striker on the front.
Yes, and that's a nice vehicle too, eh? But that's not a scout as far as I know. But anyway.
But that was, I wanted to mention them. I desperately wanted to make sure that everybody knew that, like, the Rotunda, the Darter, the Skulker, there's the Ferret, there's all sorts of cool little vehicles that if you've got vehicle rules and you want scouts,
yes,
they're just gold.
They're just, that's right.
Very cheap, very easy to use, and just get into it. And I'll have to stop there because otherwise we're going to go
there's heaps to talk about. It's really good, but we do have some other categories that we want to sort of cover. So that was scouts. So we've done missile boats, and this is scouts. So we're going to put up another poll that's going to go for about a week, and we'll give you 5 choices of what to discuss. So go and vote, and let us know which one you want, and then we shall cover that for you.
I have a feeling Juggernauts are going to make a killing. Assuming it goes on, I think Juggernauts are going to fight back again because they were second place this time. So we'll see how everybody goes.
Everyone wants to know what smashes the most, but I don't know. Think big picture. I'd like my view of how the game plays and yours and things like that has probably changed a lot because we've covered all these other things in detail, different strategies and whatever.
But I would still lean towards missile boats and brawlers. I like my missile boats. I like my brawlers.
No strikers? Strikers could be good.
I like getting in really close and hitting things really hard, and I like shooting things before they even know I'm there.
Yeah,
those are the 2 extremes that I play at.
But look, we'll cover all of them eventually, and they are all worth mentioning because it's very important. I just think it's strategic point of view.
Fun to let you guys choose which one we do next.
That's
right. So that's scouts. But the Electronica is awesome.
Yep.
The Charger is actually a really good unit if you can get the right one. And
the Raven. I like the Raven.
The Raven is quality. I mean, I'd probably put that up in the top 5.
I think so.
Mechs.
Yeah,
that would be,
I think so.
If not number 1, then very, very close.
For Innisphere, it's an excellent choice for sure.
But like I say, if you've got the rules for vehicles and you want to try them out, scouting is one of the main things that I would use vehicles for.
Yeah,
they're very, very cheap and they're very good at scouting. But yeah, anywho,
all right, that's it.
That'll do it. I've been talking for way too long, and I need a drink.
And there's so much to cover. So we'll just have a look. Go look at scouts and just sort of see what sort of fits your play style. But you should try and find something in your force that fits a scout. Because they are very useful.
Even if you're building like a single lance and you're not doing formation builds and all that sort of stuff, having something that has a scouty type vibe and some of the electronica that goes along with it is a really big bonus.
Yeah.
Especially things like C3 and NARC. I love those.
Oh yeah, so useful.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anywho, that's the lot, and we will see you guys in the next one. Let us know which one that's going to be in the poll, and stay groovy, and we'll see you then.
Yes!